smell of adventure. Ever since conquering the sand dunes of the Sahara, I've got a taste of untamed roads. So while we were out in Morocco, I got on my phone, texting away to Royal Enfield, and I said, do you have one of the new Himalayan 450s, the ultimate utilitarian, do-it-all, go-anywhere motorcycle? They very kindly immediately got back to me and said, Freddie, of course, let us drop it off to you in Ipswich. So here it is, the bike that can do anything, the bike built specifically to take on the Himalayas. Is there anything that can be cooler than that? 5,750 pounds, 40, this is the key, 40 horsepower, and a weight just under 200 kilos. I've got a lot of experience with the Himalayans because not only have I had a press bike, funnily enough, one of the last press bikes I had before I started a YouTube channel. So unfortunately, there's no actual review video of that. But what I do have is an unforgettable week's worth of riding in Scotland. That was 6 days riding all around Scotland on one of the old 411 Himalayans. That's a bike that everything about it says it should be appalling. That is the most atrociously asthmatic engine that you can imagine. It's a bike that feels so old, it feels like it should have been from about 20 years ago or so. It came out and it already felt old-fashioned. And the one big thing everyone had, the one big problem with the original Himalayan is the engine. It had a charm and a ruggedness unlike any other bike, but that engine always, in a lot of people's minds, slightly let it down. For me personally, I knew that despite all of the faults of that bike, there was something about it. It had so much heart and so much soul. I loved it. And when the Bonneville was getting fixed and off the road for about 7 months, do you know the initial bike that I was looking at? The one bike I kept falling back into looking on the classifieds, the original Himalayan, because there's just something about that beautiful simplicity. But now this is the question. Now that this new Royal Enfield 450cc engine is here in the bike, is there really any reason not to buy it? That is what I want to find out over the next 2 weeks with this bike. I'll do a quick walk around. Of course, I'm going to do a full review video of it. Initial thought, it looks very good and purposeful. I love the way they've stripped everything back. I love this about Royal Enfield, there's no styling for styling's sake here. It's very, very simple. You don't have loads of plastics covering anything. They're not hiding anything. I love that about it. You've got these big bars on the back that you can put some panniers on and manhandle it if you drop it in the rough stuff, for example. I love the fact they kept these crash bars on the front as well. It just means that it feels properly rugged. I love this about these bikes, where you can go off-roading. If you drop it, it's fine. Look at it. This is what it's designed to be for. You drop this, you scratch it. Great. That is exactly how it's designed to be. Slight negative. It doesn't quite have that absolute raw back-in-time charm that the original Himalayan had. This tank shape is slightly more modern, slightly more forgettable than the original Himalayan, but I'm willing to forgive that if it's kept enough of that original character with the newfound horsepower. So we'll wait and see. Lovely little headlamp area here. Actually, that's really nice and simple. The fact that you can still see everything. There's no plastic really surrounding it apart from this nice windshield and the mudguard there. Spoked wheels, single disc on the front, and you've got some special, in fact, I'll tell you what, come on here, Monica, let me show you this. I haven't turned this on. This is the screen. So you still have a normal key in there, turn it on. This is new. Before you had a little compass, you wouldn't believe it, a proper little compass here on the original. But this is all different now. Is it touchscreen or am I going to embarrass myself? Okay, that's embarrassing myself. Here we go. Appearance, trip, my vehicle, trip 1, trip 2. If I press home. Look, I know somewhere there may be some sat nav. So let me have a play around with that and I'll get back to you later in the video. But 2 weeks with this bike, I've wanted to try this out for so long to see, is this now the real deal? is there really not a reason to buy this? So let's get out on a ride. I think I'm going to go into the Suffolk countryside. Before I go, the Jeep's back. Freshly MOT'd, so it's had its annual check. It's road legal. It's also had a full service. There was nothing wrong with it apart from one indicator bulb that was out and an oil leak. It's okay, so tiny that there's no point looking into it. And the cost, £350. There's now no sand left from the Sahara because we had it cleaned. But what we do have is a nice thin layer of Baltic sand, of Baltic salt covering the car. So I need to go and wash that off because that will eat through the car extremely quickly. But it's got a fresh bill of health. Can you believe it? 7,000 miles and just £350 and nothing wrong with it. But that's enough of the Jeep. Now it's time to get back on the bike. It's still January, and I was having a look outside the window before I headed off today. Nothing but blue sky, sun high in the sky, and I thought, shall I put my thermals on? It is still January. Then I thought, no, there's no need. It just looks too glorious, and I can't believe it. I actually was right. I'm just in normal clothes today, and I don't need anything else. It feels like it's late spring. I don't think the mics will pick it up. They never do. But that is bird song all around me. It feels so nice to be back in the English countryside and on two wheels again. The only experience I've had with this new Royal Enfield Sherpa 450 engine is a few months ago when I was on the press launch of the new Guerrilla 450. Putting that engine that I loved so much in the Guerrilla, in the stunning mountainous scenery winding around those roads of Barcelona and Catalonia. Putting that engine with double the horsepower of the original Himalayan, 40 horsepower compared to 20, and that makes this a very different beast. This isn't evolution between Gen 1 and Gen 2. This is far, far more than that. Oh, it's so nice. I cannot believe the weather. Cannot believe this is still winter. 360 degrees. And in this little pocket of England, it's just me. Look at those colours. That green and that blue. Parked up on the side of the road here. with the Himalayan getting a little rest. I want to now show you a bit of the dash because this is definitely significantly more technological than the Gen 1 Himalayan. Really wanted to show you the dash, the screen, but it's doing that annoying thing where the LCD flashes when you show it on camera. So there's a mode button here and it looks like you get ride mode, performance, ABS on, press again, performance rear ABS off, and again, eco ABS on. So it looks like it's got 3 rider modes. Still haven't figured out how to use the sat nav if it's even built in, but I'll give that a go when I get back home. Okay, I need to go into town. Feels like summer today, but I really want to do some off-roading on this, possibly at the weekend if I can find an off-road track. So I think I need to go and pick up some thermal bottoms because I left mine in London and I can't be bothered to ride all the way back. So I'll pick some of those up just in case the temperature drops. There's surely no way it can stay this nice for the next week. Every Royal Enfield in the DNA is, first and foremost, an extremely good motorcycle, a very good mode of transport at its core. It feels like every time I'm back on a Royal Enfield, I'm back with a good old friend. It takes no more than 20 seconds to get used to it. There are no quirks, you know exactly where everything's going to be. It doesn't take any time to reacclimatize yourself with it. It's jump on, it's get out into the countryside, into the city. It's all easy on these bikes. This is, of course, just my first ride impressions, but you can feel the DNA of the original Himalayan, just updated noticeably for 2024, 2025. But definitely I can feel that DNA running through its veins. It's been an extremely enjoyable day. And I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming along with me. First video back in the UK for over a month. Feels great to be back and on a Royal Enfield again.